Hi all, welcome to the class today. My name is Hector and now we are dealing with Unit 10 past modals of deduction, wishes and regrets, and verbs of effort. In my group we are Hector Pérez Castellanos, Gabriela Elvira Aranda, Noelia Jiménez Garrido y María Antón Gallardo. In relation to the index, we are going to explain past modals of deduction, adjectives with prefixes, consonant groups, wishes and regrets, and vocabulary verbs of effort. First of all, we have past modals of deduction. We can use modal verbs to show that we are making a deduction and not a stating act. It's very simple because to make deductions about the past, you only need to add the modal verbs could, couldn't, can, can't, may, might, or must, plus have, plus the past participle. We have some examples. He could have passed his driving test, but he was too nervous. We have in this example the modal verb could plus have plus the past participle of the verb pass, which is passed. And then Lydia must have done something to her hair. She looks different. We have must plus have plus the past participle of the verb do, which is done. Depending on the modal verb we use, we will express different ideas. There are differences between them. Depending on the one we use, we are more or less sure about what we say. If we want to express possible past actions, we have to use could, may, or might, have, plus past participle. One example of this is try calling them at home, they might not have gone out, with the meaning of it's possible that they haven't gone out. If we want to express almost certain past actions, we have to use must have plus past participle. And if we want to express impossible past actions, which are always negative, we have to use can have plus past participle. One example of this is they can have got lost, they have a sat-nav, with the meaning of I believe they haven't got lost. To clarify past modals of deduction, we have some examples to deal with. First of all, we have I'm not sure where Jake has gone today. He said he wanted to go to the movies, but his brother wanted to go for a beer. He might have gone with his brother at the end. In this example, we are not very sure of this because we have mixed information, but we are guessing where Jake has gone. Instead of might have gone, we could also say he may have gone, which is a little more formal, and could have gone, which is possible in this context but is less common. Then we have these two examples. I must have left my keys in the car. I can't find them. And he must have forgotten his phone at home. He's not answering. In these two examples, we are almost sure about this because we have some evidence of the fact. And also we have, my neighbors can have gone out. I saw Mrs. Davis through the window today. In this case, we are saying that they were at home, so it is impossible that they went out. Also, we are using can't instead of mustn't because the opposite of must for deductions is always can't, and can't be mustn't because the modal mustn't expresses prohibition and something you aren't allowed to do. But always the opposite of must for deductions is can't. So that's all for past modals of deduction.
My name is Maria and I'm going to talk about adjectives with prefixes and consonant groups. First, I will explain adjectives with prefixes. A prefix is something added to verbs, nouns, and adjectives to the front of the base to change their meaning. They usually do not change the class of the word in the case of adjectives. These are negative prefixes used to create the negative form of the adjectives. For example, unsuccessful, unbelievable, unthinkable, ill, invisible, improbable, impossible, irrelevant, illegal. Something to take into account is that the prefix in changes to in when it comes before p, m, l, or r. Non-political, non-fiction, disloyal, dishonest, and antisocial. But there are also other prefixes to form new words, for example, pre-activated, or interactive. Now I am going to talk about consonant groups. This phenomenon consists in the combination of consonants in one word in which there is no intervening vowel. This issue has to be with pronunciation. So this is how the words are classified depending on the pronunciation of its consonant group. We can see nasal plus a stop, for example, camp, nasal plus fricative, for example, terms, stop plus a stop, for example, kept, stop plus nasal, for example, bidden, stop plus lateral, for example, middle, nasal plus affricate, for example, lunch, and fricative plus a stop, for example, best.
Hello, my name is Gabriel and I'm going to explain the part which corresponds to wishes and regrets. To start with it, I'm going to explain the part of wishes. When we make a wish, we imagine an unreal situation in the past, present, or future. We will see these sentences better detailed later, but just for that you see how it is. I wish I could get a better job, but I haven't got experience. In this sentence, we can see that this person doesn't have the experience to get that job, so we can see the unreal situation. I wish I had more time. Well, you cannot get more time. I wish I hadn't been so lazy at school. You cannot go back in time. So, what I said before, I'll explain this sentence better detail later. Wishes about the future. Use wish plus would to make wishes about the future. I wish it would stop raining. Maybe you see that it's a rainy day, or you see that the rain is not going to stop, so you can see here the unreal situation because the rain is not going to stop. Use wish plus could to make wishes about yourself. This is important. Use wish plus could. I wish I could get a better job, but I haven't got enough experience. We saw this sentence before. We can see that this person lacks of experience, so she or he cannot get that job. But we can see a regret as well. Maybe if this person worked hard before, maybe he or she will be able to get that job. Wishes about the present. Use the past simple to make wishes about the present. I wish I had more time. I wish it was like that with Jamie. I had? It was. I wish, like I said before, I wish I had more time. You cannot get more time. So we can see clearly here the real situation. I wish it was like that with Jamie. Well, it's not likely that this person will have the same with Jamie. You can also make wishes about the present with could plus infinitive. I wish I could speak French. It's pretty hard to speak French if you never studied before, so we can see here the real situation clearly. But we can see a regret as well. Maybe if this person should have studied French before, he or she will be able to speak it. Wishes about the past. Use the past perfect to make wishes about the past. I wish I hadn't been so lazy at school. I was lazy when I was at school and now I regret it. We saw this sentence before. We can see here the wish and the regret. Maybe this person should have worked harder before. In addition, you can use hope when talking about something you see as realistic, possible, or likely to be in the future. I hope you get better soon. This is important. Do not use I wish you would get better soon. You can use alternative structures, but not this. You can use, for example, all that I wish is that you get better soon, but do not use I wish you would to talk about something that you see realistic, possible, or likely to be in the future. When making wishes about I, he, she, it, we can use were instead of was, but this is only for formal English. Both are interchangeable and both are right. So if you choose were, well, you are choosing a formal version of the sentence. If only it were that simple, if only it was that simple, both are right and both can be used. Talking about regrets, use should have plus past participle to express regret about our own past actions. It's my fault. I should have locked the door. Well, in this sentence we can see clearly the regret. This person maybe forgot to lock the door, or maybe he or she ignored it, so we can see the regret. And you can use if only to express regret. If only I would studied harder at school, then I could be rich like Bill Gates.
Hello, my name is Noelia and I'm going to explain the last part of this unit, which is the vocabulary. So in Unit 10, the vocabulary focuses on a type of verb called verbs of effort, and basically all of them deal with the idea of overcoming a difficult situation successfully. So now I'm going to explain the meaning of the most common ones, and I will add some examples as well to make it easier to understand. So the first one we've got is cope with something, which, as I said before, it means overcoming a difficult situation successfully. And the example we've got is, it must be really hard to cope with 3 young children and a job. Then we've got get on with something, which means to continue doing something after stopping. And the example is, we don't have all day to finish this job, so can we just get on with it? Next, we've got give something up, which means to stop something or to stop having something. For example, he gave up jogging after his heart attack. The next one is go ahead with something, which means to start to do something. As we see in the example, which is we've received permission to go ahead with the music festival. Then we've got overcome, which means to success in dealing with something. For instance, he overcame all obstacles in his path to the top. And finally, we've got tackle, which means to try to deal with something or someone. And the example we've got is, there are many ways of tackling this problem. And that was all, so thank you for your attention.